Hello, my name is Monica Range, and I serve as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights. It is indeed my honor today, on behalf of OASCR, to welcome you to our Black History Month observance. Today, we pause to celebrate the rich accomplishments and achievements of African Americans to the nation and the world. In these unprecedented times of racial inequities, Black History Month is also an opportunity to recommit ourselves to achieving the racial equality and justice we all deserve. Our theme for Black History Month this year is Black Family, Representation, Identity, and Diversity. This theme explores the African diaspora and the spread of Black families across the United States. Black history is American history, and this is especially true for the history of African American farmers and their contribution to American agriculture. In 1925, there were nearly 1 million Black farmers who owned about 16 million acres in America. Land became the cornerstone of hope for the Black family, and today remains an important part of the economic success and stability of Black farmers. I welcome you to our observance and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenneth Baisden, and I'm the Director of the Employment Investigation Division, and I will serve as your host for today's program. First on our agenda is the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Next, we will have the singing of the Black National Anthem. We will now have a presentation on this year's theme by David King.
Welcome to the 2021 Office of the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights observance of Black History Month. My name is David King. I'm the Executive Director, Center for Civil Rights Enforcement. This year's theme is the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. In the course of my remarks, I'll touch on each of these themes and how they've impacted the Black family today. Let's begin. The dictionary describes family as a group consisting of parents and children living in a household. However, this definition does not begin to describe the strength, fortitude, resiliency, and unique qualities of the Black family. A more appropriate definition might be a strong association of individuals bonded by common experience, interests, tradition, heritage, history, love, and survival. Notice, common blood is not a requirement. Malofi Asante, writing for the Encyclopedia of African Religion, describes family as a matter of spiritual and community life, acceptance of children of the same generation as sons and daughters, and a haven for identity, nurturing, customs, and traditions. Here in America, the familial bonds of the Black family have been consistently tested, challenged, and at times disrupted by forces both external and internal. First in the motherland, then here in America, again, and again. Through enslavement, Jim Crow, war, peace, death, and a campaign of terror, the Black family somehow endured the ravages of our nation's complex and often sad history. Yet each time, like a seedling, scattered by the winds of hope and opportunity, the Black family sprouted anew, planting itself in the fertile soil of the American South in places like Louisiana, Georgia, and Mississippi, and urban centers of the North such as New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. As the nation grew and spread westward in the 1800s, Black families also made the arduous journey, helping to settle new territories in Oklahoma, Kansas, and California. They went to explore, settle, and sometimes fight, all the while helping to blaze the trail westward. Evidence of this is one of every 3 cowboys was either Black or Hispanic. You don't learn this in the history books. In each circumstance, the Black family became more dynamic, determined, and more resilient than before. Through the trials and tribulations, the Black family made its mark on American culture and society. But often it was others who defined it, and not always in a positive light. This brings us to the first subcategory, representation. Representation examines how the Black family has been portrayed in media. Like all families that are racially and culturally distinct, the Black family is multifaceted and complex. However, a true portrayal of the rich complexities of the Black family is a relatively recent occurrence and still competes with the century-old stereotypes on how we love, nurture, and what we value. From the 1600s to the 1860s, the Black family was a tenuous entity, largely due to the fact that Blacks were regarded as property as opposed to individuals with rights. As a result, the Black family was fragile at best. In the 18th century, representation of Blacks in general was characterized by popular novels like Uncle Tom's Cabin, published in 1832, and Huckleberry Finn, published in 1884, which portrayed Blacks in a negative and stereotypical fashion defined largely by the circumstances of their enslavement. In the decades to follow, and despite numerous societal gains, how Black families were represented in larger media improved very little. radio and television characterized the black family in minstrel show fashion, as typified by broadcasts like Amos and Andy. It was not until the 1960s and after the civil rights movement that a multifaceted image of the black family slowly emerged. In the decades that followed, the media images progressed and evolved. And while it can be said that recent representations of the black family in media are multidimensional, ranging from working class to affluent and everywhere in between, there's still more work to be done. The next subcategory of the black family theme is identity. Identity examines which individuals make up the black family. In many ways, it is like any other American family. There's a father, a mother, and 2.5 kids. However, the majority of black families don't fit this statistic. Most black families are single-parent households headed by women. Current statistics put the number at nearly 70%. While there are a multitude of reasons for this circumstance and countless studies, there is very little consensus on the causes and how to address them. As alarming as this statistic is, the black family in America has always had a tenuous nature. During the long period of enslavement, for blacks, forming a family was often horrifically painful, as they were again considered legal property. These family units could be easily broken up for any reason or no reason at all. To survive this situation, the core bond of the black family was less about who and more about why individuals came together to form a family. And the why was collective survival. The black family was a loose concept consisting of blood and also non-blood relatives. The general notion was leave no one uncared for. Today in the black community, this notion is still prevalent as many non-blood members are taken into black families as a means to assure their survival. It is because of this the term brother, sister, aunt, and uncle are far more encompassing in the black family. This expansive notion of family can be traced back to some African societies, as we are all familiar with the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. The final subcategory of the black family theme is diversity. Diversity examines the racial and cultural diversity of the black family. From the start, the black family has always been a diverse creation of races and ethnicities: blacks, whites, Native Americans, Hispanics, and even Asians. Here, however, it's appropriate to note, in some circumstances, race mixing or miscegenation, the legal term, was voluntary, but more often it was not. In fact, until 1967, anti-miscegenation laws prohibited interracial marriage in many parts of the United States. Regardless of the impetus, the black family evolved as a bastion of acceptance and affirmation. This cross-pollination of races created a rich tapestry of cultures, manifested in food, language, and traditions. Further, studies have shown interracial marriage often facilitates a decrease in the instances of prejudice. In the latter part of the 20th and the first decades of the 21st century, the diversity of the black family has been significantly impacted by the African diaspora. This occurs when people of African descent born outside of the United States immigrate here and marry Americans of another racial group. Two instances of this are President Obama, who is the son of an American-born mother and a Kenyan father, and current Vice President Kamala Harris, the daughter of an American-born East Indian mother and a Jamaican father of African descent. While the impact of the African diaspora on the diversity of the black family is not new, it has become more prevalent and is manifesting in ways not contemplated before. It is yet another aspect in which the black family continues to evolve, strengthen, and add to the multi-layered fabric of American culture. As I close, let me leave you with this. The black family has endured a multitude of arduous challenges and yet survived and even thrived. In all of its manifestations, the black family has served as a safe haven and a bedrock of the black community. It has fostered countless contributions to American society, from politics to agriculture, from art to commerce, from religion to music, and 1,000 other ways. While there are still significant obstacles to overcome, the ingenuity, perseverance, and fortitude of the black family will doubtlessly rise to the occasion. In the words of the old Negro spiritual, we shall overcome. Thank you.
Money doesn't get you power. Power gets you money. And land is power. Welcome again to the OASCR Black History Month celebration. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History, or better known as ASALH, designated this year's Black History theme to focus on the Black family, representation, identity, and diversity. OASCR determined what better way to recognize the contributions of African American influence on agriculture than to chronicle a modern day operation of an African American family farm. In this behind the scenes recount, we will briefly unpack the complexities of multi-generational family farming from a far too often forgotten perspective: the African American family. This 8-minute video chronicled a harvesting season of blueberries in Covert, Michigan, but it features so much more: legacy, community, pride, toil, generational wealth, land, inheritance, and hardship. In the film, and at his death, Great Uncle Sylvester leaves a 100+ acre farm to his son, who takes over the farming operation, not because he loves it, but out of duty and obligation. Dreams deferred, but multiple opportunities provided to subsequent generations who love the land, but don't want to farm. Uncle Sylvester's grandsons are artists, coders, graphic designers, and journalists who have different dreams and aspirations. However, at the end of the video, they decide that they must preserve the farm. This short film also highlighted a harrowing statistic that only 1.46% of the U.S. farming population is Black. The 2017 USDA census provides even more detailed statistics on the demographic. While 96% of family-owned farms are family-owned, only 48,697 of them represent Black producers of the 3.4 million total U.S. producers. 57% of Black farms actually have less than $5,000 of sales or government payments. And the average age of an African American farmer is 60 years old. However, there is good news. The USDA is committed to providing fairness and equity for African American landowners. Indeed, the 2018 Farm Bill contains several key provisions regarding program access, civil rights, and heirs property that are assistive to African American landowners and their families. On your screen are those real life depictions of the African American farm families all across the country, the families that we serve here at the USDA. As public servants within the People's Department, we have the privilege, pleasure, and responsibility to ensure full and fair access to our program benefits for these customers. In a fictional portrayal of African American farm families, Ava DuVernay and Oprah Winfrey created a television series entitled Queen Sugar. Though the series primarily focuses on the plight of Black farming and land inheritance after the death of the patriarch, it weaves in individual stories of the characters, their love, their loss, racial tension, economic disparities, family discord, and cultural norms in rural Louisiana. Whether actual or fictional, Southern or Midwestern, an agrarian lifestyle is not for the faint of heart. However, the fruits of the labor have and continue to serve as the lifeline for African American farm families. Thank you for your time, your attention, and most importantly, thank you for your service.
And now for a video featuring a USDA employee's farm.
Kanisha Miller, Soil Conservationist, NRCS.
Hello, I'm Kanisha Miller. I'm a soil conservationist in the Fort Valley Field Office in Georgia, and I also am the owner of EM Farms.
EM Farms is an on-farm market growing fresh fruits and vegetables available totally for you pick. EM Farms began as a way to accommodate produce needs in an area where the nearest grocery store is 20 minutes away. 2 years later, not only am I providing produce to the community I was born and raised in, but I am creating jobs in the form of landscaping, farmer market cashiers, and various farm duties. The USDA's Natural Resource Conservation Service has helped me in numerous ways. First and foremost, being employed as a soil conservationist and by receiving financial assistance through the EQIP program for our well, high tunnel, and micro irrigation system. EM brings people of all backgrounds to the farm through agritourism. We host goat yoga, school tours, and a hunted forest. Our goal is to recreate the way people think of farms. EM was established on the land that my grandfather, a full-time farmer, farmed 50 years ago. The fact that I can create a farm named after my grandmother, Emma Maul Miller, and farm on their land is truly inspiring. EM is truly my heart and soul.
Oh my God.
To conclude our program, Ms. Denise Banks.
I wish to thank the speakers for the exciting and provocative presentations we experienced today. From the eloquent opening remarks by Deputy Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, Monica Range, the excellent commentary on the video Owning a Farm by Cinnamon Butler, the outstanding presentation on the EM Farm by Kanisha Miller, former 1890s scholar, owner, and NRCS employee, to the thought-provoking, impassioned presentation on the Black Family by David King. In closing, I would like to leave you with this thought. A rainbow, a patchwork quilt, a human mosaic, a kaleidoscope, a tapestry of cultures woven and made strong by the varied threads of humanity. These are metaphors for the remarkable human diversity that colors our planet. America was founded on the principle of equality, and this solemn commitment to equal opportunity and freedom continues to bind us as a nation. Our diverse cultures enrich and broaden the American experience, of which African American heritage is an integral and inseparable part. It weaves through our country's history, profoundly influencing every aspect of our national life. By rediscovering and celebrating this wealth of history, we can draw strength from our successes and look forward to a new era of hope, centered upon embracing the talent and creativity of all of our nation's people. I wish to invite you to explore the vast resources on African American history available through the Smithsonian Institution and the Library of Congress, and also other private sector institutions throughout this world. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the USDA Black History Month observance. Thank you for participating.